So here are 5 side hustles that you can start with 0 money and from the comfort of your own bedroom. I mean, you can even do it sipping coffee in your underwear if you wanted to. All you really need is a good internet connection. And at the end, I'll throw in a bonus 0.5 tip that'll elevate every one of these and multiply your revenue. If you're new here, I'm Mike. I run this channel with my little bro, Matty. So 2 years ago, I was a doctor working 80 hours a week at the hospital. And at the time, I decided to start a side hustle. And since then, that side hustle has evolved and allowed me to leave my job and work on my own terms. Now I work whenever and wherever I want, and I want to help you do the same. Now, I'm not saying that side hustles have to become your main hustle, but I will show you that it is possible. And if anything else, it's always nice to have a little bit more income, right? But let's keep one thing straight. A side hustle is not a job. If you want a job, you can go work at McDonald's or Starbucks, or you can drive Uber or something. But what I'm talking about is starting something that has potential to compound over time the more you work on it, so that someday it could give you more freedom and flexibility in your life. All right, the first side hustle is to create digital products. A digital product is anything that comes in digital format, so it doesn't involve shipping and manufacturing. Some examples would be digital downloads, software, ebooks, music files, courses, videos, and templates. A simple way to get started is to just think about the apps or software that you use the most and then make a template for it. We use Notion every day, so we've made Notion templates for productivity systems, for second brain systems. For students, we've made study templates, finance trackers, resume builders, and we've made anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 a month selling these various templates. But take, for example, someone like Thomas Frank, who's made over $100,000 a month selling Notion templates. And one of the main reasons why he's so successful is because he also has tons of educational content talking about Notion. Now, if you're a beginner, then you can easily make a few $1,000s a month if you take it seriously and put your templates for sale in multiple marketplaces like Etsy, like Gumroad, or WAP, or even the Notion gallery itself. But let's zoom out a bit, because Notion isn't the only software, right? You can make templates for anything, like for Canva graphic designs, you got LUTs for photos, presets for videos, web design templates. You can make note-taking templates for apps like GoodNotes on the iPad. And I'll just go ahead and leave a bunch more ideas here that you can just kind of take a screenshot of. You're welcome. We're still on number 1, but you just got a whole bunch of ideas. So what I recommend you do is to just take a few minutes to think about all the apps and software and tools that you use on a regular basis. And if you figure out a nice workflow for these tools, then you want to package that workflow into a template and then put it for sale. And when you're starting out, I wouldn't worry about the market being saturated or too competitive. That's actually a good thing, because it means that there's a proven concept and that there's demand for it. What I would focus on instead is making your digital products for a very specific target audience. Take our project manager template, for example. I'll leave a link here and below if you want to check it out. But basically, we built it for a very specific niche purpose, which is managing projects in a very streamlined workflow. And as you can see, it was a big hit, and over time we took feedback and expanded on the concept. The best part about selling digital products is that you can spend one time building it, but you can sell it again and again and again, because it costs nothing to make a copy of a digital product. And just remember that ideas are worth nothing unless you take action. So if you want a guided way to start your side hustle today, then you can check out our free course called Focus Quest. I'll leave a link in the description. It's completely free and it'll guide you to earning your first dollar online. The next side hustle idea is the one that I personally started with, and that is editing videos. The demand for videos is super high right now, and there aren't very many good editors out there. For our channel at Cajun Koi, we've gone through about 15 to 20 video editors who've done projects at various times. And from my experience, a decent video editor can charge about $300 to $500 per long form YouTube video. And a reasonable turnaround time is about 1 video per week. So you could stand to make an extra $2,000 per month if you take this side hustle seriously. And that's actually what we've paid our previous video editors. But right now, there is a boom of demand for short form video content as well. You can also leverage AI to edit faster. You can even edit on your phone or on the go, like during commutes if you wanted to. And again, you can find free tutorials on how to become a better editor all over YouTube. I mean, nowadays, you don't even need to pay pay for an editing program because there are so many free options to choose from. You can start getting paid on websites like Fiverr, Upwork, or YouTube Jobs. You can use Twitter, LinkedIn, but I think the best way to get started is to think of a creator that you like, maybe someone you subscribe to, and just ask them directly that you want to be their editor. Now, we get a lot of emails from people wanting to edit for our channel. And let me tell you, if you have the following in your message, you're much more likely to get a response. So let's say I wanted to edit videos for someone big, like Graham Stephan. I'd say something like, hey, what's up, Graham? I took the initiative and edited one of your YouTube videos completely. And I also went ahead and chopped it into 3 engaging shorts. So feel free to use them and save yourself some time. If you like my work, then let's talk. If you didn't like it, then I would love to know why so that I can improve. I've been following you for years, and one day I want to be just like you. Okay, thanks, bye. And you can share your price if you want. You can put a Zoom link to book a call if you want. But the main thing is that you got to put a little bit of effort up front and do a little bit of free work to show them that you're actually committed. And a pro tip here is that I would send them your video published on YouTube, because you can actually see if they watched it or not. And you can even see where in the video they've stopped watching or what parts are most watched. That way, at least you have some data on how to improve if you don't get a reply. Now, here's another pro tip that most people don't realize, and it's that you should edit videos for big creators and build up a portfolio. This is what we talk about in Focus Quest. If Graham Stephan didn't reply, then at least now I have a video that I've already finished editing for Graham, and I can use it to reach out to other big creators and show them Graham's video in addition to theirs. And over time, you start to build up this portfolio of work, and eventually one of these creators is going to watch your video and see all the other videos that you've accrued on your channel, and this will make it way easier for you to get attention. Now, having knowledge about editing or just video in general is a future-proof skill. If you want to someday become a content creator or a YouTuber, then you already have the skill. That's what I did. I was actually editing videos since I was growing up, so becoming a YouTuber was easier for me. If you want to eventually hire other editors to work for you and you want to grow out a small editing business, you can also do that too. Now, of all the side hustles that we talk about today, I'd say that this one is the most future-proof or recession-proof, and that is writing. And the reason I say this is because everything at its core is just good writing. When robots and AI take over the world and do all the physical labor for us, think about what jobs are left, right? It's all the writing jobs, writing articles and books and social media content, websites, sales pages, anything entertainment related like comedy, movies, song lyrics, and let's just say even coding is a form of writing. If you're an expert or even just a professional with some sort of expertise or specific knowledge, then you gotta start writing to share your ideas online. Like if you're a developer who knows how to ace your interviews, or you're a lawyer who knows how to start a private practice, or if you're a single mom who knows how to meal prep for 5 kids. These are all specific niche things that you can definitely start writing about. And if it's specific and relevant enough, then people would pay you money for it. You can write it once and it can be read by anyone, anywhere in the world. But you don't necessarily have to be any sort of expert to get started. In fact, I don't consider myself a personal finance expert by any means, but on my journey of learning personal finance, I wrote a book teaching finance to beginners. So in that book, I simplify the concepts down to the fundamentals. I drew from my personal stories as a doctor who knew nothing about money. And I had to quickly learn how to manage my money when I started making a decent income. So that's where all my experience came from. So as a beginner, I packaged what I learned for other beginners, and then I put it for sale on Amazon. I tweaked a few ads and then never touched it again. And now it makes a few $100s a month. So if you have a few books for sale, then you'd make a pretty decent monthly income. Now, the cool part is that you don't necessarily need to be an amazing writer. There are AI tools out there that you can use. They'll do a lot of the tedious work for you, like grammar and editing. It can even change the tone of your voice or make you sound more friendly or more sarcastic. It can make you sound like, a mixture of James Clear versus Mark Manson. It can even help you brainstorm and finish a half-written project. I've been doing this long enough to say that AI isn't going to replace writers because it still needs to be told what to do. But it definitely has made my job as a writer much easier and much more productive. Now, there are many ways to monetize your writing. I know that some of the content creators I follow follow like Matt or Colin and Samir have outsourced the writing for their newsletter. So the same approach that we talked about earlier is think about the creators that you love to read or that you follow and reach out to them directly with proof of your work. You can also find work on sites like Fiverr and Upwork, or become a ghostwriter through sites like Hot Ghostwriter or The Urban Writers. But no matter what you do, always remember to keep a public portfolio of your work, whether it's a library of your blog posts, whether it's a newsletter. Now, if you have a huge newsletter like Ali Abdaal, for example, you could get paid at least $2,000, if not more, per ad on your newsletter. But if you're starting out and you have a smaller newsletter with really targeted readers, you could still make about $400 to $500 per ad. And if you publish just one letter a week, that's a couple $1,000s a month right there. The next side hustle idea is something you can start as a student with no money, and that is to be a tutor. If you're well versed in a particular subject, then you can teach that to someone else, right? You can teach math, history, science, you name it. But I think a better approach here would be to niche down to something very specific. For example, being a personal tutor to help a pre-med student score high on the MCAT. Now, here's a pro tip. I would record all of your best tutoring sessions so that you can use that material to build an online course. Now, I know that online courses have a certain reputation, right? It's not always positive. And one of the reasons is because people sell courses on things that they themselves have not achieved. But if you put in the work and get really good at your subject and you have the recordings to prove it, then you have way more credibility that you can actually get the results for your students. And parents will pay decent money for their kids' education if you have the results to back it up. For case studies, I would check out our course, StudyQuest. This is exactly how we did it. You can also start tutoring others through sites like tutorme.com, studypool.com, tutor.com. You can tutor calculus, Python. There's like 300 or so subjects on these sites. If you wanted to scale up and grow into a small tutoring business, then Alex Hormozi has a really good breakdown of what a tutoring side hustle could look like if you start from scratch. So I'll link everything that I just mentioned down in the description below. Now, you don't need to be a student and you don't need to teach school subjects. If you know how to pass any sort of licensing exam or board exam, right? If you're a doctor or a lawyer, nurse, accountant, broker, then you can sell courses and tutoring and coaching on the side to make extra income from the knowledge that you already have. But the side of tutoring that not enough people talk about is speaking a second language. You can get paid by sites like VIPkid.com or italki.com for literally speaking English or whatever your language is. They have over 100 languages to choose from, but if you know English, then you already have an unfair advantage over others because rich parents from countries all over the world will pay for English lessons for their kids, since knowing English gives you access to better opportunities and better markets. The fifth side hustle idea is a huge one. As it becomes easier and easier to start an online business, more and more people are taking advantage, and one of the strong pillars of online businesses is the virtual assistant. You can do literally anything as a virtual assistant. You can do online shopping for other people. You can do data entry. If you're really organized, then you can plan people's calendars. You can do their travel planning. You can post content on social media. You can do research. And here is another screenshot list for you. Obviously, if you have a very specific skill or talent, then you can charge more money for your services. Like if you can do graphic design or copywriting or produce music. But I think the most underrated way to be a virtual assistant is to go and work for a big creator or entrepreneur. This is going to require some work on your part to reach out directly to the people that you want to work with. But to give you some examples, imagine being an assistant for Tim Cook or Mr. Beast, or insert some big name in your industry here. Obviously, those are ultra famous people, but you get the picture. Imagine how much you can learn from them. You could see their day-to-day operations. You can see what it takes to be a top performer, and all of that is priceless. You're basically getting paid to learn. Now, for the special 0.5 side hustle idea, this comes down to having an investor mindset. Every single one of these side hustle ideas has some sort of return on investment. They have the ability to compound into something much bigger. And if you stick with it long enough, they become an asset that will pay you over and over again. For example, writing can turn into a book. Video editing can turn into a YouTube channel. Teaching can turn into an online course. All of these can turn into some sort of online business. And if you're looking to take your side hustle to the next level, remember to check out our free resources in the description. Traditionally, when you talk about investing, most people would think about investing in stocks or real estate or something like that, right? Buying a property and renting it out. But now we're in the age of digital real estate or digital assets, things that can be managed remotely. And if you start early enough and stick with it for long enough, side hustles can definitely grant you financial and time freedom.